got a lot to talk about today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please like and subscribe, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Yeah, to start with, Matthew Pines has some very intriguing comments here about a potential coup de grace coming for UFO disclosure. It's just a few seconds long from his interview with What Bitcoin Did. Here goes.
I believe the coup de grace will be coming sometime this year with someone that everyone would recognize if they watch, if they paid attention to the news, you would know this person.
Wild.
So we'll see. But then that puts us in this. So I think all these things are going to come together, right? It's like,
yeah, I love how the guys exchange looks. That's how I feel. What do we do with this information? Who is this person that's going to come forward with the coup de grace for UFO disclosure? Some public person that we know. Let the speculation commence. Let me know, guys. Who do you think is going to be that public person? Somebody that we know. Who is that? Who is that? Either way, Ross Coulthard is coming out favorably on this interview. He's saying, for anyone wanting to understand what is likely to come for the rest of this year on UAPs, this is an excellent, cogent summary from Matthew Pines. Especially interesting from 1 hour or 40 minutes in. This is, it's a great interview. I encourage you to go watch the full thing. I'll link to it below. And let me know who you think that public figure is that's going to deliver hopefully the silver bullet for UFO disclosure. Meanwhile, check this out. Netflix is coming out with 5 new episodes of Unsolved Mysteries about the Moth Man. Yeah, we're getting more Moth Man action from Netflix. I love it. I hope they have something new to say about the Mothman, maybe even some new appearances. The whole Mothman thing is just super fascinating. And then if you've watched, the TV show Hellier, great show, love it. It's got a lot of Mothman connections, and it just makes me even more fascinated by Mothman. So stay tuned for that. Meanwhile, Patrick Jackson, and I think I may have shared this before, but in light of my recent coverage of the elongated skull people, I thought I would share it again. Patrick Jackson is using this interesting technology to visualize these beings. And he says, this is a video / still image from one of my tests, documented in my book in 2015, years before the U.S. UAP hearing, filmed in a tunnel entering the woods. The eye and the cheekbone structure, as well as the side forehead line, match those of skulls found in our museums. Could this be what Harvard is referring to? A second species that lives underground in woodlands and remote areas? Yeah, I think that is super fascinating. And indeed, this being that he captured with that technology really does look like an elongated skull being. Of course, it's interesting that it looks like the skull of an elongated skull being. There's no, eyes in there. So I don't know why, if that's what happened, that it would have manifested in this particular way. So let me know your theories about that in the comments below. But I just think that's super fascinating, this technology that he is apparently using to manifest this stuff. Meanwhile, this is a really great exchange about Arrow between Sean Patrick Hazlett and Gary Nolan, and I'll link to the full interview below. A great interview from Through the Glass Darkly. He always does fantastic interviews. He's a great interviewer, and he has fantastic guests. Highly recommend his channel. Let's give a listen to what he and Gary had to say about Arrow.
In my opinion, Arrow is quite obviously a counterintelligence operation. The whole point, if you looked at people who testified to them, they always require you to sign an NDA.
Yeah.
Why? Right? It's like a honeypot. So in my opinion.
And they promised to give those people back the transcripts, and they never did. So, the integrity is lost. And I would say to Senator Gillibrand and others who supported Arrow, you're supporting a group that is lying to the people that are coming in to testify. So the people who did testify have no faith in the process. And the rest who, like you and I, think that this is just a honeypot, have basically gone around them. So the purpose of the group is moot at this point. Discontinue it. Shut the place down. It's not necessary.
Well, it's not moot, Gary, because the whole idea is that it is disinformation. It is Blue Book 2.0. But Gary knows that. But is it Gillibrand or Gillibrand? He says Gillibrand, and he's more in the know than I am. So is it Gillibrand or Gillibrand? Let me know. Either way, he is agreeing with Sean that Arrow is a honeypot. So yeah, if it's a honeypot, then it is a deliberate trap of some sort. It is not simply a bureaucrat, a moot bureaucracy. It is serving a function. So again, Gary knows that. But anyway, great points, and I would love to see Kirsten Gillibrand or Gillibrand reply to that. Again, fantastic interview, and I'll link to it below. This is an interesting exchange with James Clapper, who was the former or is the former director of national intelligence, where he admits to some culpability in not being more transparent regarding UFOs.
As the former director of national intelligence, I think there have been a lot of theories about UFOs. What do you make of these revelations? What might this be? It does sound like it is, something that we haven't seen before, this type of transparency around this topic.
Yes, and I'm not sure why that is. The only reason for classification would be if there's some sensitive method that data relating to so-called UFOs was collected. But other than that, I don't know why we haven't been more transparent about it in the past, and I'm part of that crime, I guess. And my former capacities were, I didn't insist on more transparency with respect to this issue.
Yeah, well, he didn't, and nobody else has either. He's certainly not alone. Of course, I am sure that he knows a lot more than he is saying. He didn't insist on transparency, which means he would have been able to provide transparency, which means he knows something. So what have he and the other intelligence agencies been doing? The CIA seems like they have been in the UFO game for a long time, for example. They are up to their neck in this stuff. So, it's nice of him to say that. But words are wind. Isn't that the quote from Game of Thrones? I love it. Meanwhile, a really interesting exchange here with Senator Mark Kelly, former astronaut, and Jake Tapper. So let's give a listen to part of this. It was over 2.5 minutes, but let's give a listen to part of it.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer introduced legislation to create a review board to declassify government records relating to the sightings of unexplained aerial phenomenon, or UFOs. Do you support that legislation? And as a pilot, have you personally ever seen any unidentified, unexplained aerial phenomenon, either as a fighter pilot or as an astronaut?
I have not, and none of my colleagues have, as far as I know, and we actually very rarely even speak about this. Can't remember one time in space that we actually talked about aliens or focused, on a mission. Hey, if it doesn't have a negative impact on our national security, I think transparency with the American people is the best option. So I haven't seen this, or maybe I have. Let me also say, Jake, that when we have extraordinary claims, we need some extraordinary evidence. That's what Carl Sagan said about this kind of stuff. And I think it's important to get the information out there as long as it doesn't impact our national security.
Yeah, so he keeps harping on national security and requiring extraordinary evidence. Well, actually, we just need evidence. We don't need extraordinary evidence. It just needs to be evidence. And as far as national security goes, I don't know why releasing some footage of UFOs and admitting the existence of UFOs would endanger national security. Now you can make the argument that we're reverse engineering UFOs and that could serve our national security interest, and that revealing that could be detrimental, but they've revealed the existence of the stealth fighter. They've revealed the existence of nuclear weapons. So I don't buy that argument for a second, but let me know what you think in the comments below. Meanwhile, here we go. Check this out. A great UFO capture that might be a Dragon UFO provided by Think Tank. Check this out. The slowed down version of this object buzzing this plane just as dragons do, making anomalous movements.
Let's watch it again, only 8 times slower than 8 times. Here comes the object, turns around, and in a minute you can see it behind the wing of the plane. And here it is, see? And behind the tail. And there it goes. It dives down. It goes straight ahead. And there you...
Okay, there you go. What looks to me like a classic dragon buzzing this plane and then going on its merry way. Dr. Robert Scheib has pioneered the research into these incredible objects, and it's great to see more and more people talking about this and showing this weird sub-phenomenon of the UFO phenomenon, where these small UFOs will buzz airborne objects. With particular interest in our military and police vehicles, although they'll buzz just about anything. So, what is up with that? Is that some sort of surveillance system? You would think that the beings would have more sophisticated surveillance techniques than to send out drones to buzz stuff. So is this our technology? I don't understand the dragon phenomenon, but that goes in a long list of things I don't understand. If you do, let me know in the comments below. Meanwhile, check this out. This is really interesting because this is from Texas, where I am. Strange red column of light seen shining over Texas coast. The light glowed in the distance for more than an hour before it disappeared. Freeport resident Randy Martin stepped out of his home around 1:30 a.m. Monday to find something he'd never seen before, a red column of light beaming toward the evening sky over the coastal Texas town. The vertical line remained shining in the eastern horizon, flickering slowly yet unmoved for over an hour before it finally vanished. It never moved for about an hour and 15 minutes, he told Cron. It got brighter and brighter, and then all of a sudden, it just went away. Unsure of what he had just witnessed, Martin took to Facebook to confirm whether anyone else around him had also spotted the same stunning spectacle. One person shared a photo with Martin of a similar vertical ray of light they spotted over Austin on Thursday. From a Google search, Martin found such a sighting also occurred in Austin in 2022. Austin is my hometown. That is super weird. For the record, when I was in Austin, I never saw anything like that. But that is super intriguing. I do have a friend, one of my ghost hunting buddies, who heard one of the sky trumpets. This weird, crazy sound that was coming from the sky, kind of metallic, that went on and on for several minutes. And, this was in North Austin. So yeah, weird stuff going on in Austin. The motto of Austin is "Keep Austin Weird," and I guess the aliens are keeping that up. But let me know what you think this is all about. Meanwhile, I talked about DARPA yesterday. Well, DARPA, they've been doing some funky stuff for a long time, but check this out. From extremetech.com, DARPA reveals Avatar program, robot soldiers incoming. DARPA, the bleeding edge research wing of the United States Department of Defense, has revealed that it will spend millions of dollars on a project called Avatar. If you've seen the movie of the same name, the highest grossing movie of all time, let me put your mind at rest. DARPA isn't looking to genetically engineer blue-skinned aliens that humans can control. No, they're developing robots. In the words of DARPA itself, the Avatar program will work on interfaces and algorithms to enable a soldier to effectively partner with a semi-autonomous bipedal machine and allow it to act as the soldier's surrogate. In other words, DARPA wants to develop the walking equivalent of an unarmed aerial vehicle, a bipedal robot drone where the controlling soldier is hundreds or thousands of miles away from the warfront. Yeah, that's crazy, guys. DARPA having an army of robot soldiers. That sounds fun. Let me know what you think about this crazy development. Meanwhile, from Popular Mechanics, scientists reconstructed a 52,000-year-old woolly mammoth's DNA. Resurrection may be next. That'd be cool, guys. I want them to bring a woolly mammoth back. That'd be awesome. Put him somewhere cool, all of the idea of resurrecting long dead animals really went mainstream with 1993's Jurassic Park. Most talk surrounding de-extinction revolves around a different icon of the not-so-distant past, the woolly mammoth. And although John Hammond was misguided in a lot of ways, don't put man-eating animals in your theme park, for example, he did get one thing right. To bring back an animal from oblivion, you need genetic information, and lots of it. The article goes on to talk about the science of it, and then it says this: although biotech startups are eager to resurrect the woolly mammoth, many experts have warned against trying to bring back the species, arguing that, at best, humans create an elephant hybrid that doesn't really fit in the natural world, or at worst, we introduce an invasive species to the Arctic tundra. For now, this data will mostly help scientists better understand how genomes drive changing characteristics across different environments. But one day, this chromosomal model could help resurrect the Ice Age icon. I don't know, guys. Do you think they should bring back the woolly mammoth? I mean, that'd be a lot of fun, but of course, it could be destabilizing to the environment. For example, the crazy toads in Australia. If you're not familiar with that, there's a whole documentary about that. But yeah, I mean, people try to introduce stuff to environments, and it doesn't always work out real well. So, in fact, I'm not sure it ever works out. Maybe it does. If you can think of a positive example of that, let me know. I'm sure there is somewhere. But would a woolly mammoth be an example of that? It'd be badass, though. So let me know if you think they should bring the woolly mammoth back, just because it's badass. Meanwhile, I thought this was really interesting, an expose of what's going on in Reddit. Well, an expose by an actual Redditor. Check this out. Here's the quote. I'm coming forward. I am a former mod of r/UFOs, and without a doubt, there is some very obvious social engineering going on. What you aren't getting, because I'm a former mod of r/UFOs, and know what I saw with my own eyes, my own two eyes for almost a year, is that there are indeed bots and astroturfers. I spent more time than most users reading hundreds of thousands of comments. Really. There are humans and bots working together, in some cases as extreme believers or extreme skeptics, sometimes arguing with each other. Their goal is just to provoke a bad reaction from a believer or a skeptic so that uncivil behavior happens. The real goal is to make people polarized, because if you are arguing with each other, then you can't really get at the truth. I've also been astroturfing or seen astroturfing from old accounts, some that never posted in any related subreddit, just coming in and posting the same smearing article about Lou or Coulthard, for example. I went through 2 levels of ontological shock as a mod of r/UFOs. One, that the phenomenon is real, and then a second, that someone or ones is absolutely using social media to manipulate not only our UFOs, but Americans on a large scale. Yeah, and I've seen that on the channel, guys, time and again, and you guys have commented on it. Comments being deleted, people being unsubscribed without their knowledge. By the way, please check your subscription, because that does happen. Make sure the bell is notified so you receive notifications when videos come out. Of course, some people, report that they are not receiving notifications. So be sure to make sure the bell is hit, and check the channel a couple times a day if you're not receiving notifications. And yeah, the comments being deleted, the channel not showing up in search reports like it should, etc., is clear sign to me that there is interference on the channel. It's very frustrating. It's no surprise this is going on in Reddit. I'm sure it's going on all across social media with this, the control group actually trying to step in and make us, in this case, fight amongst ourselves so that we are not getting at the truth. So yeah, it's awesome that this guy came forward with this information. It shouldn't really be surprising, but it's really useful to know that this is going on. Let me know what you think about it all in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell to be notified of future videos. And this is a sugar glider, by the way. Very cute little fella. But yeah, like and subscribe. Support the channel by buying a t-shirt in the merch store below, by becoming a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support, guys. Thank you so much. Also, channel members frequently get to see videos before everybody else does. And so So yeah, be sure to become a channel member, and there's plenty of other videos on the channel. I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.